And we should talk a little bit about WrestleMania coming up this Sunday. Obviously, there's 3 big title matches. There's the Becky, Ronda, Charlotte, Kofi and Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. Now, some fans, not me, would say that it's maybe unlikely that we're going to get a clean sweep of feel-good moments there of Seth, Kofi and Becky all walking out with the championship. What do you think, and do you have any predictions?
I think it was Meatloaf who said, "Don't be sad, 2 out of 3 ain't bad." So I think we'll get a couple of great moments. I think they really set the table, and then all they have to do is feast on it. You know, I think it's going to be huge moments, career-defining moments for Kofi, for Becky, and the wild card would be, what Brock feels like doing, really, when it comes down to it.
And I want to get your take quickly on Ronda Rousey, because she's just been this tour de force in WWE for the last 12 months. How important do you think it is? Because obviously Becky and Charlotte have worked so hard, as have many other women. Yeah. How important was it for Ronda Rousey to be there, do you think, to get to this point where we're getting this, huge main event?
She was really vital to it. She brings that name brand, the name recognition to that maybe the casual fan or the non-fan wouldn't know. And then you put her in an atmosphere where she's really thriving. The most important takeaway I got from last year, which was my favorite match of the year. I'm not saying it was the best match, it was my favorite match. It was full of great moments that you can remember years after the fact, when that's not always the case with the great matches, because sometimes they tend to blend into each other. And in this case, they had some standout moments. And I remember saying, like, you can tell she's not phoning it in. Like, she is as far from phoning it in. No one uses a phone to call anymore, but that means her heart is there. She's emotionally invested. And so I think it would be a great a tribute to her if she was in 2 back-to-back Mick Foley favorite matches. And I just, the big question mark is how much energy the fans will have 9 hours in. So that's a question mark that the women will have to really work hard to answer.
And we did a tour in the UK in November with Edge, and obviously your WrestleMania 22 match came up, and we went into it in great detail. He had some very fond and some not so fond maybe memories of how that ended for him. But you've talked a lot about how that was your WrestleMania moment. You worked towards that. When you look back now, I mean, how do you feel about it looking back? Because you worked so hard for so long, you did so much in wrestling, and finally you got your moment.
Yeah, I was so grateful that I had somebody to bring out the best in me in a match that was suited to my strengths, avoided my weaknesses, and I had the best all-around, worker in the business, and we pulled off a great match. And I just said to Edge afterwards, look, we had a great match, but if we both simultaneously refer to it as the greatest hardcore match ever, within 3 weeks it'll become accepted fact. I've watched enough American politicians to work to know how the power of repetition, as does Mr. McMahon. And so it was the greatest hardcore match of all time.
And last question I've got to ask you, we're not that far away from Madison Square Garden where you got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Did you think in 2013 when you went in that Donald Trump, who went in the celebrity wing, would then be the president of your country?
I didn't think so. I really thought when he said that was an excellent speech, that meant I was going to be on the next season of Celebrity Apprentice. I didn't know he'd be, running the country.
And last question: what match you look forward to the most?
Let me sob silently for a moment. I'm better.
What is your match you're looking forward to the most on Sunday?
Oh, the women. I really am. I think the energy is a question mark for me. WWE's built a monster with all these events all week long, WWE and non-WWE alike, and it's just a matter of whether they have the energy to make it a class. I believe it's that element of magic you can't script or predict that turns a great match into a classic. And I know the women will have a great match. It's just a matter of whether the fans have the energy to turn it into a classic.